are our chakras. So those are the energy centers that we have in our bodies. And we have been having lots of questions from you guys about, oh, I feel my second chakra is blocked, my throat chakra is blocked, my third eye chakra is blocked. And we'd love to go into all of those questions and at the same time give you a kind of introduction into what are chakras, why are they important, how can we use our chakras for messages, for guidance, how can we use our chakras for healing. So there are lots of interesting issues we can go into by using the chakra system, so the system of these energy centers in our body to explain life.
Yeah, first of all, there's a lot of confusion about what is a chakra exactly. So I'm going to try to give a more esoteric explanation. So we have, first from China, we have the acupuncture meridians, which are on this, I would say, the surface of our bodies, and they transport energy, electricity. And that's really physical, so you can measure it. With the chakras, it's a much more etheric kind of energy, and it connects our physical consciousness with, I would say, in a nice technical word, with our cloud, our memory, our past lives, our soul. So some people talk about Akashic records. So let's start with the first one, give an example. So the first one is about feeling safe in yet an unsafe world. So we need to trust that even when things are dangerous, that we are going to be okay. We need to develop it over time. It's also the feeling safe in our body, feeling safe in a three-dimensional reality, safe with money, you know, all this stuff that has to do with actually what we call the reptilian brain is life, survival, and danger. So we need to always be aware. So when there's a lot of fear, we attract fear. Anything you want to add just in general for chakra 1?
No, but when you go on your chart, you'll see chakra 1 is associated with the color red. So the color red is a sign for a system that could be either a stop sign if we're stuck in the fear pattern, right? We can see the color red as something that makes a stop, or we can see it as a color of power and courage when we're feeling safe. So you'll see as we go through the evolution of self or consciousness, we kind of walk through the rainbows. So we walk through the evolution of each chakra in a way. So I've always found that really interesting how you used to explain the chakras as an evolution, a path of the evolution of self. As, for instance, when we are born, we want to feel safe. So we need to feel that unconditional love from our parents when we're babies. And we know that we can develop that sense of unconditional trust. And if we, for instance, as babies, already might have gone through traumas where we didn't feel loved or safe, then we can take the wound in our first chakra because we never learned that feeling of I am safe, I'm loved, and there's always someone there to take care of me. So we all need to go through that process of feeling safe.
Absolutely, and also to be able to unlearn a lot of programming and beliefs from your parents' education, which happens predominantly in the first 7 years until puberty. So we have all these rules, what is safe. So for example, for me it was you need to study hard, get a job that's safe. So all of these safety issues are in there. The way we deal with money. So basically we need to learn to distinguish what is life-threatening, you know, like
stop.
Right, stop, and what is just in our minds that's holding us back to move forward. So from the chakra 1, we need to develop courage even when we feel like unsafe, that we can still move forward.
Chakra 2 is one of my favorite chakras because it's one that I really had to learn to activate and also to tap into and learn to see chakra 2 as an enormous source of creativity, because that's what chakra 2 is. It's associated with the color orange. So I like imagining it being like the orange of a sunrise. And this chakra 2 is also associated to our sexual organs. So that's for, especially for us women, the area of our womb. And that is the seat of creativity. That's where life is created. So if we have a block in chakra 2, we're not only blocked in our sexual expression, but also in our creative expression as such. And if you then realize that we are truly the creators and creatrixes of our life, if we're no longer tapped into that creative power within us, we're missing a huge chunk of our energy. So balancing chakra 2 is not only about discovering how can you be more playful in life? How can you have the courage? And that's where again, when I said it's like the journey of the human. You were born as a baby, you need to feel safe in your mother's arms to become a toddler moving into chakra 2, where you're feeling adventurous and you want to discover the world.
And that's actually moving us also to chakra 3, right? So once we feel safe, we start exploring, we start creating pleasure, but then we discover we cannot control the world.
That's when we're here, right? Chakra 3 is in your solar plexus.
And that's where we want to control others. We want to have power over them. And what we discover with chakra 3 is to have our own power, not to project it outside. So it's where we make the transition about fun and how can we manipulate fun, how can we manipulate people, how can we control circumstances so we feel happy. And what we need to learn is that we cannot control circumstances, but we can control how we deal with circumstances.
So how I respond
instead of reacting from a lower level of fear and then pain.
So in the heart chakra, guess what? It's all about love. And the first love that we need to learn is
love of self. That's where most people get an imbalance because they're looking for love outside. And to be loved or to feel loved, they need someone else to love them, but they do not have the natural ability to love self just the way you are. This is one of the toughest challenges that we need to learn. We always find things that are wrong with us, and then we hope another person will give us approval, appreciation, respect, so we project all our needs, but in reality, we need to learn to become our best friend, our best partner, but especially talk positive to ourselves. We're not always pushing ourselves down. So it's a really tough one to master, chakra 4.
Well, that's also, so you'll see in the evolution of self, that's where the quantum jump takes place from chakra 3 to chakra 4. So when we master that courage to really follow our heart's desires and to take a stand for what we believe in. So it's kind of that revolution of self that we need to make with ourselves, that we say, now I'm done with playing small. I'm done with being a victim. I'm now ready to take ownership of our life. That's, I feel, when we step into our hearts. And that's also that magical space that starts opening when we start following our hearts really in that relentless way, is that we come across situations and synchronicities that are just in no other way explainable. I mean, think of moments in your life right now where things just seem magical. Wasn't that always a moment also where it took some courage, where you had that sort of, oh my God, I'm not quite sure if this is going to work, but it just feels so right, I just need to do this? That was also that time, is usually when we feel that everything is being presented for us, and we have that positive attitude towards that. And we move, and this was also where we had a question in our membership, we moved to the throat chakra. And that, I feel, the throat chakra seems to be one that, again, for women is very often imbalanced, and where we also see the organs that are connected to them, and those are the thyroid. So the thyroid gland, which again is huge in managing the hormone balance within our body. And so many women are taking thyroid medication because the hormonal balance is just out of whack. And I see a strong correlation between also this kind of feeling of suppression and not being able to voice our truth. So if our throat chakra is imbalanced, we have trouble saying what we really want. We have trouble owning our desires. We have trouble standing up for what we believe in, actually saying something, right?
Yeah. If you look at chakra 5 as, I would say, the expression of all chakras, so in an authentic way. So if you feel unsafe, you can express it authentically. If you feel, like there's no pleasure, it's about getting to the authenticity to express what's inside. So the chakra 5 works downwards, so you can express all the chakras, you love, all those things in a way that makes sense for the other. So we can express our anger in many different ways, but we can also shock someone away, but we need to learn how to communicate through the heart chakra so it can be loving and so on. And then it also is for the higher levels. It's also for the third eye, and that's where you get into channeling, into seeing what you're seeing also. It's expressing the spiritual part and expressing the body part, and express all the chakras and what's going on inside of you.
And the color that is associated with the throat chakra is a beautiful blue. It's a sort of turquoisey blue.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we move to the third eye.
Third eye chakra. We also had a question in our community. You wrote that one down, didn't you?
About which one?
The third eye chakra. So in the third eye chakra, it's about seeing behind or beyond our three-dimensional reality. So there it's about seeing what people are really saying when they're talking to you. It's about being able to tap into your extrasensual senses, so clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. So all those invisible factors of life. The third eye chakra is situated here between the eyebrows, where you're in, according to Indian tradition, your third eye sits. That is related to the inner organ inside of our head called the pineal gland. And according to many cultures and researchers, our pineal gland that we have right now as humans is minute to what it used to be. In, for instance, Egyptian times, they found that we had a much bigger pineal gland, but it's kind of shriveled because we have not been trained how to use it. So what's happening now, and also the shift of consciousness, is that more and more people are trying to activate their pineal gland again, and you do so every time you meditate, every time you are conscious of what you're doing. Basically, you are reactivating your pineal gland. So,
which was
crown.
So when we move to the crown chakra, one technique that we use on meditation is to connect to a star, and that star represents the higher consciousness, the source, or whatever you want to call it, God, or your seed, where you're coming from. And then you connect and allow that star to bring light into your crown chakra. And then this, it could be golden energy for some people, it's white, whatever feels powerful for you. And you allow that energy to cleanse through your body until it's completely also cleans the chakras, balance the chakras. And for me, I go until I feel like it's vibrating out of my skin and create this powerful auric field around the bubble of starlight, so to speak. And then I'm connecting the star to the earth and the earth to the star. So I become literally the channel for earth and heaven. So I'm no longer, my ego is no longer in between. I'm just resonating the best I can with unconditional love and with everything that is, and to experience that sense or feeling of oneness where you just say, it's not about me anymore. I'm just part of a bigger, much bigger divine plan, and I'm just channeling part of the divine plan through my body, through everything I do. And that's the connection that I want to keep, which is not
doesn't always work, right?
Yeah, but that's eventually the goal. But to be so connected to that pure love, to that pure healing, to that pure oneness, to become part of everything. That's where you can connect to the seventh chakra.
That's where on your scale you'll see it in pink. That's also a kind of the seventh chakra, right?
Nice.
And that